We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Recorded to you live from deep inside Corporal Klinger's wardrobe trunk, this is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go around the table, see who's here. You, my friend, you are Dom.
I am here.
Oh, my gosh. Ed.
Hi.
I know you, too. And I got my brother Bob on guitar.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey, everybody. And I'm Bill Sweeney. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. We get together every week. We hang out. We do some nerd stuff. We go over some nerd news and whatever
Nerd
else happens.
stuff.
Nerd stuff.
Geeking out.
Geekery. Just a lot of
stuff.
geekery. And we do some emails, but that stuff tends to fall in the geek zone, too.
Sure.
And maybe every once in a while, like something else. We'll do like some other thing.
Oh, like sports?
Well, yeah, previously, on previous episodes. Mm-hmm. Previously on Wicked Theory Podcast, sports stuff was mentioned. Bill was uncomfortable. We might have more of that. We might have more of that today in the emails, from what I understand. A little birdie told me what was in his email this week. Can you figure out who that might be?
No, I'm not saying his name.
No. That's so inside, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
a little birdie gave you some poop.
Gave me the scoop on the poop. Poop scoop.
Pooper scoop.
Poop scoop. 2 scoops of poop soup?
Moving on.
Maybe.
Fair enough. Okay. So official business is that this is episode 62.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we got here.
Wow.
It's one more than last week.
Yep.
We're going to do some news. We're going to do some email.
So how many more till we get Social Security?
I don't know. It depends.
I think it used to be 3, but isn't like 93 more now.
It's probably going to be 100.
Government just wants to keep our money.
Just wants to hold it longer. So people can follow us, this podcast, at wickedtheory.com. They can find episodes, and we're on iTunes, Stitcher, everything else.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, et cetera. Google Play Music. That's a hot new one that no one's listening to us on. But, hey, we're there. And then you can also, we got another podcast. Ed's not there.
No.
But the rest of us are. And that's Preacher vs. Preacher. Preacher versus Preacher. And people can check that out if you've read the books or you're watching the show and you don't care if you're spoiled about the books, then fine. Go listen to us over there.
Well, hang on.
What?
One quick thing
Sure.
about Preacher.
Well, fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
Now, Dom, maybe you can help me because I know Bill's been holding out on me. Mm-hmm. I've been asking him for the last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was very shocked and I was a little upset and I'm very worried. Where at the end of last episode, because I know you've read the books and you know, where did he go? Ed's
curious. He's curious.
Ed's convinced that those who read the books know where Eugene went.
Where did he go?
Doesn't happen in the books.
See, Ed?
Right.
I wasn't lying to you, buddy.
But where did he go?
Ed's a little soul crushed.
The last episode of
You got
I have not listened to the last episode. No.
We need to ask Seth and Evan, but I think we do that on another show.
But Ed, the first thing,
Yeah.
Ed
Where did he go?
Anyone out there who's watching the TV show Preacher, our main character, disappeared suddenly.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in the original books, but evidently it did happen in the show, and it upset a lot of people, including our friend Ed.
But they weren't upset like, oh my God, you changed the books. They were upset like, hey, where's my puppy?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Where did he go? That's like the message I got.
Well,
from
maybe
Ed.
he's buried in the backyard.
Well, maybe.
In a manner of speaking, he wasn't he?
I don't know.
We actually don't know where he went.
No,
so.
we don't know. We don't know how they're going to play loose with it because I got a feeling that they're going to play loose.
They did use the word hell, but hell could mean a lot of things to a lot of people.
That,
exactly.
But like, what is that? Oh, where did he go?
Hell. He could be in the middle of. What is hell to Eugene? I mean,
yeah.
Being stuck in the middle of Montana, maybe.
Maybe it's that line to the DMV.
Yeah, really.
If we're going to go that way. So
then you'll never see him again.
No. So I guess maybe that was kind of like a segue into Meanwhile. That was something recent that Ed watched. Meanwhile section is a thing.
Meanwhile,
we do it's just kind of like a upfront little here's a little bunch of stuff that we saw this week that we kind of want to recommend or whatever that we saw that we were like, yeah, this was cool or this was interesting. So Dom, just so you know, like that whole thing about the preacher thing is like that was the first thing Ed hit me with.
Oh, I know.
As soon as he saw the episode, he was like, "No, I know that you know, though." Like he was like legit for a second.
still
He was like,
think you know.
I think you're holding out on me, and I'm like, bro.
Maybe you should fucking man up and read the books.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's go crazy. All right. Well, Ed, if you want to break down and read a really good book, it's there waiting for you. All right. All right.
You gotta buy him.
All right. Whoa, he's gonna lend them to you. I heard him say lend.
Lend.
Yeah. Just to make sure you guys are clear on that. You might think he said give, but he said lend.
There's 6 books.
I did
I have
say
6 days because you have another podcast to do.
That's true. That's a lot of reading. All right. So in the meanwhile stuff, I don't have to kick it off.
You can.
But for some reason, I'm at the top of the list on this thing. Now suddenly I realize that I want to rearrange that next week. But I caught the pilot, the first episode of HBO's The Night Of. They've got it streaming online, and it's really solid. What a great hour! Like, you know, even though you kind of like see some of it coming a little bit, like, you know, it's like it's an evening that's going to go wrong for the main character, basically, like kind of a thing. And like you see all the stuff coming, it's like really kind of like well laid out and stuff. I don't want to give too much away, but it's about an Arab American guy, young guy. He's got to be, he's mid-20s or whatever, and basically he's born here and stuff like that, and he's in New York City. He ends up hooking up with a girl who's just, she's a little bit nutty. She's a little kooky, not completely crazy or anything like that, but she's obviously got some things going on, and he basically, by the end of it, he's accused of her murder. You know what I mean? Oops. But it's one of these questions of, okay, so who did it? Did he do it? What happened? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they give you so much in the first episode that you're almost like, we're going to go how are they going to do this show? But the tone was great. The performance is great. John Turturro's in it. This was actually James Gandolfini's last project.
I was going to ask you, how do you think that show would have been different with him in that part?
I don't think it would have been.
It would have been a bigger actor in the part
physically, but I don't think it would have been too different. From what I understand, because Gandolfini was involved in at EP level, executive producer level, and kind of like with the story stuff, and that supposedly Turturro really didn't want to do it at first. And because they had already shot the first episode, and so they were going to reshoot the stuff that Gandolfini was in with him, and he's pretty much just kind of saying, well, you know what, this was his project as is, rather than you guys rework anything because I'm coming in or something like that. Let's just pick up the ball and go with it, kind of a thing. But because I think Gandolfini's fingerprints are kind of like all over it behind the scenes still, like he felt like he wasn't kind of coming in and stealing. Okay. Something from him in a way, kind of a thing. I forget his exact quote and stance on it, but
well, I guess as an actor, you got to figure if he didn't do it, he's a friend of Gandolfini.
Yeah,
then
I think so.
The last thing that Gandolfini ever had a hand in, would have just ended up dying.
I think that was private. Yeah, and
so,
probably like behind the scenes too. It's probably like, well, if I don't do it, some other guy's going to do it, and he might jerk it all up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a really solid piece. I feel like people should go check it out.
It'd be nice if they could have figured out a way to use Gandolfini's footage.
Well, the thing is that they only did the first episode. He comes in basically as this character's lawyer, you know what I mean. So it's like he's going to be up in the middle of it from here on out. So there's really no way to really kind of probably twist that around.
I'm sure
they can always replace the lawyer. I mean, find a reason.
Well, that's what. Well.
If Gandolfini's character is a lawyer, you find a way to replace the lawyer.
Yeah, but then by episode 2, you're changing the whole feel of it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know the material, so.
You'll probably see that on DVD special features.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, maybe. That would probably be some interesting stuff. At least some of it, Maybe not the whole thing, but. And then also for me, I finally watched Beasts of No Nation on Netflix with your boy.
Idris Elba.
Thank you, sir. Just
very good actor.
Very good actor. Phenomenal movie, just like they told you. If you haven't finally watched it, that's just my recommendation for the week, more than the other one. But check it out.
I thought that's what you were watching.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So.
I just got my hands on Black Mirror finally, so I'm going to watch more than just the first episode. Nice.
Well, you're next up on this, Bob. You checked out Planetary.
Yeah. I borrowed that from you, actually, and you gave me 3 books, right? There's about 6 issues in each book.
Right.
So I finished the first book.
So Warren Ellis.
Yeah, it's definitely Warren Ellis. I wasn't going to mention because I didn't want to leave anyone out, and I can only remember Warren Ellis.
I think Cassidy. I think his last name is.
Yes, I think you're right on that.
Can't remember his first name right now.
John Cassidy?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Cassidy. Yeah, right.
Excellent book. I got so used to this classic comic book style that I can't read regular comic books. You know what I mean?
Right.
I need something that's a little more smart, a little more mature.
Right.
This is one of those.
Right.
Because I'm a third of the way through the story that you've given me.
Right.
And I'm still not sure what the hell's going on.
Right.
But everything that's going on is very cool.
Yeah.
And the story is definitely leading somewhere. So it's kind of like almost like Lost in a way. You don't have any information,
right?
Even though you're getting information.
Yes.
You know, so
it's one of those things. It's a little cryptic,
right? It's definitely sci-fi.
Format.
It's definitely sci-fi and superhero stuff in there. But it's a very more mature kind of thing. It's not like everyone's just running around in tights saving people.
Right. Exactly.
You know, so. If you haven't checked it out, if you can find it, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. It's good stuff.
I could just say it was written by Warren Ellis, and the art is by John Cassidy.
John Cassidy.
Right.
Very good. Dom. Hey, I remember you. Hey, how you been?
I should have like a huge meanwhile section.
You should. You should have like 25 things at this point.
I'm only going to go with one.
All right, that's fine.
I recently picked up a new Joe Hill novel, The Firemen.
Okay.
A few days ago.
Nice.
I really haven't been able to get too into it yet.
All right.
That's the guy who's Stephen King's son, right?
Yes, exactly. Stephen King's kid. So it's basically just like about some kind of like outbreak where if it touches your pores, you basically engulf in flames. And
oh wow!
You explode.
Nice.
So you could.
And like how instant? How instant is it?
I'm not really sure. That's like something I haven't really gotten to yet. So,
okay.
I'm sure it'll be explained. It's like an 800-page book.
Yeah, you'll get to that. Yeah.
But it's good. He's a great writer. I really didn't know much about it going in, other than like his name, credibility. Really, that's mainly why I even picked it up because I'm a huge fan of his graphic novel Lock and Key.
Sure.
So
another excellent book.
Yeah. So that's really the main reason why I even picked it up.
No, yeah, and I think that's like his newest thing, right? That's his newest piece.
Yeah, it only came out a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you got, like a hardcover?
Hardcover.
Wow. That's a serious.
That's a serious investment.
That's a serious purchase. It's like a $25 book.
Yeah, it was about $25.
Yeah.
It's about,
do you think it's worth it?
Well, so far you know.
It's big. It's a big 800-page book, but
that's not bad.
See where it goes.
All right, cool, very cool. Hey,
feels good so far.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good.
But you're only a couple chapters in, right?
Yeah, I read like 30 to 50 pages. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
All right. Keep us updated.
I will.
If it turns to shit, let us know.
I'll send an email to the show.
All right, I'll send an email to the show. And what's going on with you lately? What'd you catch this week?
Well, I took a little trip across the Gothels Bridge.
The Gothless?
Into Jersey.
Into Jersey? What'd you go over there for?
Because they're playing that Swiss Army Man.
Oh, in limited release, I guess, in nearby New Jersey locations only.
Yeah.
All right,
I went to Jersey Gardens.
Oh, Jersey Gardens.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to do.
They got a big 20-screen AMC there.
Ooh, nice. Do they serve you food in that one?
No.
That's not to sit down with
that's
the
the
meals?
Menlo Park. That's the dining theater.
There you go.
the forking theater.
Right, it's the forking theater. Yeah, so anyway, appetizers, popcorn is still overpriced, though.
No. I went to see Swiss Army Man, which was we talked about the trailer a few months ago.
Sure.
Just how that movie looked weird.
Yeah. I want to kind of hear about this.
Yeah, and it did not disappoint.
It was
very strange.
It looked it.
And it's kind of this psychological journey, and it does an interesting job. It's an interesting character study.
Right.
Paul Dano plays this guy who looks like he's stranded somewhere. Mm-hmm. On a desert island type place, and
Fair enough.
He's about to kill himself when all of a sudden a person washes up on shore.
Oh.
And he discovers that it's a dead body.
Okay.
And played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Sure.
And it won't stop farting. And then
Wait, you saw this without us?
Yeah, really. This is the one that when we did watch the trailer, we were all kind of like, "Whoa, this is worth."
Yeah, this is kind of one that we should all go see.
Yes, and
esoteric, but worth
it.
Then
it discovers that even though it's a dead body,
Right.
it is conscious and it can speak and
And
it
it's
has
doing stuff.
these magical powers that are helping him.
Yeah, it looks very fantastical in
yes,
a way. Like it
and
ramps
it's-
up to being fantastical almost.
Yes, and it's very strange, and you kind of see the truth behind what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, and here's where Grant Markham is probably gonna break out the bottle.
And hit you with it, or
Yeah.
just start drinking because he hears you reviewing the movie.
Yes.
Yes, both. Yes,
is
both.
Like all independent films, or no, that's
It's
that's
not
a
true
mistake.
independent,
That's
right?
not okay. Like many independent films,
Fair enough.
you can see why it's not made for general release. There's just that one thing missing.
I think that's in the trailer, though. I think I think you get that from the trailer, though. You can get that kind of feel.
Part of it, for the most part, it does a good job bending reality and fantasy.
Okay.
And I feel like it mucks up the ending.
Okay.
And it's the kind of thing where, like, I can't tell if it wasn't clear enough or it was too clear. And
Well, that
it's
sounds
just-
pretty vague in itself.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they played hard on the vagueness, and so that you didn't come out.
And it's the kind of thing where, like, they reveal the truth behind everything,
But it
at
may
the
not
same
be the
time,
truth.
They want there to be hope at the end, so they do something very fantastical.
Oh, shit.
And to me, it doesn't jive for me.
As long as it doesn't all end up as a dream. I mean, I don't know if I hit it on the head or anything like that, but I'm just thinking, like, the only time that's ever been okay with me was Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, no, that's not how it ends up.
Okay.
But it's the kind of thing. And Birdman has a similar type of ending.
Okay.
But at the end of Birdman, you go, "Oh my God, that's so amazing and inspiring." But at the end of Swiss Army Man, you go, "Huh?"
I think the end of Birdman, you're supposed to be like, oh my God, that's so inspiring. But I think a lot of people are like, yo, fuck this movie, man. Yo, what the hell is that about?
Yeah, well, that was the reaction I kind of had.
For Swiss
But
Army Man?
but overall, I think it was an enjoyable experience, and I'd give it 3 American tacos.
3
Okay, cool.
American tacos. Nice.
By the way, how would you rank Beast of No Nation?
Beast of No Nation. Good call. Good question. I'll give it 3.5. Are we doing out of 5? We doing out of 5?
Yeah, out of
4.
five.
4. Then 4. Then a solid 4. A real solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a little more than 4, but let's not get crazy.
And those are both recommendations, folks.
Oh my gosh, those are things. Those are all things people should be doing this week.
Which means you should go and see them.
Yeah, go see them. Go read the book Bob was talking about, Planetary. Go see some movies. If you can stay home, you can watch some movies.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go look for Swiss Army Man now.
There you go. Find it at a theater near you.
In Jersey.
That's about as near as it's going to get for us. Fair enough. So,
Going over the Gotham's Bridge.
the Gothams. I heard that too, right? He did say Gothams or something. He said it wrong somehow.
Gothels.
The Gothless.
Gothels.
Gothels.
The Godless Bridge.
The Gothels. The Gothels.
It's such a piece of crap. It's a Godless Bridge.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Bob, take your position. We're going to do some news. Ed,
Yeah.
Dom,
Yeah.
you guys have worked this out. Dom's
have.
doing the news this
We
week.
have,
Yes.
after a long political debate and
Many
words exchanged.
I think all that happened was I said, Dom, you want to do it?
Exactly. That's basically
Yeah.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
So
That's all it
let's
took.
kick it off.
Let's kick it off. Bob, kick us in.
I fucked up.
And do it again.
Let me do it with the mic on the.
Do it again.
Got it? All right.
There you
Right,
go.
So let's kick off some
Yeah.
news here, folks.
Let's newsify this
According
fucker.
to Uprocks, which is a tech site that entertainment site.
Yeah,
I should say.
they're like
But
a living meme.
I actually like they post up some good articles from time to time.
Once in a
But according to them, now sharing your Netflix password can be considered a federal crime.
Ooh.
I mean,
I don't know who put it in the doc.
I
That-
did.
yeah, I read this article. It's, I think this is a little headline grabbing. It's the kind of thing where, like, on a technicality, but there would be a huge lawsuit behind that.
Well, the
And
thing is that there's a.
I was just skimming it also, and it seems like a little bit of a stretch. It also kind of seems like there's some shenanigans on the legal side of it that it's kind of a way for Netflix to curb that
yeah.
password sharing because it's very vague, the law.
I think what it is that it's going to spiral. There's a fear that this case that's pending right now will set a precedent, and if it does that also mean that what's judged there will mean that Netflix that basically you're committing a fraud by sharing the password.
I think the basic story is it was a big giant corporation where someone was fired, and then they borrowed someone else's password to access the company's database and steal a bunch of records.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So basically they're saying because that one employee was held responsible, now, they're saying that you should not be allowed to share your passwords.
Right, depending on what the ruling on this is, it might set a precedent. But that's what these kind of companies kind of like, and they want to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, I've heard supposedly the guy from HBO has said in the past, we don't care that you share your password. Because the idea is that eventually, you'll get a sample of it, taste of it, and you'll lose that password, or you'll no longer. Good chances that you're still going to end up coming to us eventually and pay for it.
Right, anyway. Like somebody I know, it happened to them when they lost their PS3.
Right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
So, that person had to go out and find another way.
That nameless person.
Yeah.
Who shall remain nameless? Who could it be?
First name, last name, less.
There you go. First name should be less.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Last name.
Last name. Last name's good.
I have less name than you.
That's good. All right, and then that's basically it. People can go check that out on their own. What's next in the queue?
So the CW has signed a new streaming deal with Netflix.
Speaking of,
and this is actually something that I like because
it's good news.
I was getting kind of annoyed. Not that I really needed Netflix to watch these shows because I watch them all on the CW when they're on.
Fair enough.
In their respective seasons. But, every once in a while you want to go back and rewatch. And The Flash, Arrow, they don't come on Netflix until the next season starts.
Yeah, and I feel like CW was always an issue to try and find episodes for their shows anyway.
Yeah, well, because they don't have it on demand on TV.
It's not a major network or anything, so what do? You know?
Yeah, well, it's also their approach.
You
can only find it. Yeah, you can only find it on their app or their website, CW Seed.
Well, Hulu has the last 5 episodes.
Right, and then Hulu is like a limited kind of thing.
Hulu fucking sucks, basically.
That's what happened to Hulu, basically. But not to pick on Hulu, but you suck. So that's good news.
While we're on the CW, John Barrowman will now regularly appear on all of the CW's DC shows.
So Merlin.
Now, I don't know where he's going to fit in on Supergirl.
And I noticed that's
the one that's up in the air still.
And that's the one show that's not mentioned in the article.
Right.
But he said all CW superhero shows.
Yes. We caught that.
Which means that if it's going to happen, they're going to figure out a way.
Yeah, it'll be a matter of time. He'll be there by.
I'm getting sick of this man.
He's just
sick of him.
He's a certain type. He's a certain type of actor or whatever. He comes off a little schmaltzy, a little bit, and a little hammy maybe or campy.
Well, it's also weird because he looks too young to be the character that he's playing.
Well, I mean,
I think
the character he's playing is like ageless.
It's
right?
weird. I feel like he looks a little too young to be Thea's father. I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought he was another one that was that had gone through the Ra's al Ghul pit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe a guy has baby face. Maybe it's charming good looks or whatever.
A little plastic surgery.
But the other thing is he's the character on Arrow that's sort of like Grant Ward on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where it's like this guy should be dead now. Like. We've finished with this character. We should be moving on.
Well, not to really kind of praise S.H.I.E.L.D. too much, but at least with Ward, like they're changing him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a point where there's a change involved. He's really somebody else.
I would love to meet that guy, that actor's agent, because it's the kind of thing where and it's not even it's in. Every half season now,
right? That's
they
the thing.
Finish his story arc, and it's like, okay, it's time for this guy to die, but somehow his contract says he has to be in this number of episodes, so you've got to find something to do with him.
Right, you got to find a way to keep him alive, even though he shouldn't be. But with Merlin, I find that I feel like I've only watched a handful of episodes with him in it as Merlin. And I find like just him being the whole. Super secret kind of mystical kind of dude. I don't always buy it from him a little bit. I feel like he's too charmy, smarmy, campy, or whatever for that. I'd rather
say what you like.
You know,
say, like this can say something about the show itself. Arrow, like he's one of the better actors on the show.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's great.
Oh, okay.
It just from a story perspective.
Yeah. I liked him on Torchwood. Don't get me wrong. Like when he did Torchwood and he was on Doctor Who for a little bit, I caught some of that. And he's playing, a swashbuckling character who's larger than life. So maybe to see him over here, it's like I kind of feel that underneath what he does. I might be carrying too much over from other performances by him, maybe. But either way, enough with that. Because we get the gist of that. All right, comic stuff. I want Ed to really kind of go through this one because...
fuck me.
Well, not to fuck you, but it's like... Here's the thing. Or the two of you can go through it because there's a ton of shit in there. So it's the Harvey Award nominations. Harvey Awards, of course, are for comic books, and it's the big awards every year. One of the big awards.
Yeah, well, it's like the Eisners are like the Oscars, and the Harveys are like the Golden Globes, or like the SAG, because Harveys are all voted on by industry professionals.
Fair enough. But there's a ton of categories. So maybe the two of you can work down the list a little bit. There's definitely some interesting ones for us because it's stuff that pertains to us. But to sit there and try and go through it all is a bit much. I mean, they got letterer, inker, colorist, you know what I mean? And you just wouldn't know any of these names.
Yeah. It gets like some of the Academy Awards get when it's like, okay, we're giving an award to the third gaffer on the second team of...
Exactly.
I could just go through some of the big categories.
Well, that's what I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like best new series. We've got Archie from Archie Comics. Okay. Bloodshot Reborn. Right. Giant Days, Paper Girls... and The Vision.
Right. Now, Paper Girls and The Vision, I'd put it's probably, I would hope for one of those two, although Vision I haven't read. Right. I keep on hearing it's the one series this year from Marvel that I'm probably missing out on, that it's a lot cooler, deeper, and cerebral than you may presume it to be. So that's going to be on my list for when it gets pulled into trade.
Yeah, I mean, Best Writer, Jason Aaron for Southern Bastards, Jeff Lemire for Bloodshot Reborn, Brian K. Vaughan for Saga, Mark Waid for Archie, G. Willow Wilson for Miss Marvel.
So are they just going to give Brian K. Vaughan like a slot every year?
Oh yeah,
until that series is done. Because Saga, yeah.
Well,
he's in that thing.
No, it's just
he's up for best new comic also with Paper Girls.
Yeah,
he writes that.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like it doesn't matter what he's writing.
It doesn't matter what he's
because before Saga it was Why the Last Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
anything that guy does really.
Yeah,
honestly, fuck Southern Bastards. Seriously.
Why? Just because you haven't read it in a while? Because it won't come out on a regular basis?
I don't even think I'm going to continue picking it up.
Really?
It's just like it's so annoying. Like it was so good, and now it's not, and it just comes out every 6 months.
I think that's your issue, though. I think that's the issue.
It's not good when it comes out, dude. Like nothing happens.
Oh well, that's because you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of building stuff going on. A lot of new characters have been introduced over the last few last few issues, and not a lot of stuff has actually happened after the defensive coach died.
Right.
Yeah, but after after the coach died, there's only been 2 more issues. So I think the thing is that with that book is that the matter that you had to wait so long for those issues.
It's been 3.
Well, even if it's 3.
Yeah, well, whatever.
It's like it's only 3 more issues. You know what I mean? Like
but the coach dying was like a big freaking deal. And then what's the aftermath? We see a guy hanging out in the woods talking about needing to get coach.
Yeah,
and then we see the other guy from way back in the very first issue. His daughter comes and cleans out the house.
Yeah. Which is the thing you've been waiting for. So
you're 100% right, where it's like it's not necessarily the content, it's just the timing. But at the same time, it's like you can't do that shit if you're only going to release the book every 3 to 5 months.
For this book to have the pace it has as a story, to have this kind of crazy pace as a release, it's a 1-2 punch.
That's a good point, Dom.
Yeah, it could be a 1-2 punch. I totally get that. Absolutely.
That's a very good point.
Month, I wouldn't be as bothered about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call. Trades only, maybe, for a book like that.
Probably.
Best Artist. We got Greg Capullo for Batman.
Sure.
Jason Latour, Southern Bastards. Chris Samney for Daredevil. Fiona Staples for Saga. And Miko Swayan for Bloodshot Reborn.
You may not have seen Bloodshot Reborn, but that is some really fantastic and beautiful art, too.
Yeah, you've been getting that, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of that work.
And
it's crazy.
And that's the big takeaway from a lot of these nominations, and I won't go over anymore. But the big story that Bleeding Cool posted was that Valiant Entertainment got more nominations than every other company combined.
Wow.
Did every other company combined?
They got 50 nominations.
Wow.
More than Marvel, DC, Dark Horse.
Does that include awards for the janitors or just?
Yeah, how are they making up the difference on that?
Yeah.
Well, it actually says in the beginning, it says 50 for Valiant.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Valiant when I say that. I'm just, it could be a lot of secondary stuff.
I don't read any Valiant books, so I'm not really.
I mean, it's funny. Like the two titles I was reading for Valiant were both. There's a Quantum and Woody and Archer and Armstrong. Although Archer and Armstrong's coming back now, so I'm excited for that.
It is back.
It is back.
It's been back for a while.
Oh, it has? Okay.
It's like shit.
Gotta pick up that trade. Okay.
I was reading. So I was reading the Bloodshot books. Good, great stuff. Really good stuff. All right, so that wraps up the Harvey Award stuff. So
Am I allowed to go pick back up?
Yes, you may. I'm sorry for trying to deviate a little bit and make it a little smoother.
No, that was perfect.
I have a caveat for this one as well, but go on.
I could not have done what that man did. So Brian Bendis and Alex Maleev launch Infamous Iron Man starring Dr. Doom, which is if you're reading comics right now, you know that there's so many Iron Man titles with an extraordinary name in front of it.
Yeah, it's International
I
Iron Man.
I think the next title will actually be Extraordinary Iron Man.
It just
might as well be Law of Averages. It might as well be
another Iron Man. Just call it that.
Another one.
Yeah. Yet another Iron Man.
So there's a little description here. It says there's a new Iron Man in town, and his name is Victor Von Doom. The greatest villain of the Marvel Universe will try something new. Where Tony Stark failed, Doom will succeed. What is Doom's master plan? So if you've been keeping up with the Iron Man books, I really haven't. But
there was other news this
in the beginning of the that too. We can get to that. But, in the beginning of the run of International Iron Man, I think, and Superior. No, not Superior Iron Man.
International Iron Man. I think Invincible.
Invincible. That was it. Right. Yeah. Doom actually comes back after the events of Secret Wars, and his
face is all good.
Face is healed, and he's seemingly a good character.
He's seemingly sexy,
a good guy. And I kind of dropped reading them, so I really don't know where they ended up.
Yeah, I've just put them down, took them off my list as well.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So what's interesting, I felt like in this, it was just that as everybody was talking about how the fact that a character named Riri Williams, who's a new character, a young urban black girl who is a 15-year-old MIT prodigy, is basically going to take over the mantle of Iron Man. Because now, since the solicitations have to come out probably next week or something like that, Marvel has to make the announcement to beat them to the punch.
They announced it on Good Morning America at the beginning of the middle of the week.
Yeah, they made a whole big thing about it. Yeah. So the thing is that what's going to happen, obviously, something's going to happen to Tony Stark. He's going to be off the grid. So they currently have 2 Iron Man books going. So rather than have,
how do you keep the book going?
Well, yeah, exactly. And a brand new character taking over the mantle, you can't have her in 2 books. Like, people won't just... Yeah. It'll be too much too soon. So this is an angle for them to do something with the other title, both of which Michael Bendis writes.
So picking a black woman has nothing to do with grabbing headlines or getting some attention?
Oh, well, I mean, that's the whole nature of changing it out anyway. Yeah. That's the whole thing. I mean, so is Dr. Doom. So is making it Dr. Doom.
Right, because my initial reaction to this was, okay, well, haven't they done, like in the 90s, a girl in an Iron Man suit?
I think they kind of did, but not really too much.
And they have Rhodey, so they don't necessarily need to worry about either one of those.
Well, here's the thing. They just killed off Rhodey. So, womp womp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, spoilers. Oh, my God. Read the article in the paper. But, yeah, so the thing is that, like, if people feel like... maybe some people, because there's a lot of people just want to bust balls on anything fucking that's has a person of color in it, or anything that could be kind of perceived as being a thing. It's all for political correctness. Well, the thing is that, like, Rhodey was a black character in an Iron Man suit too. So is it really all about color? I don't really think so. I think it's just about this is a character that they were doing, and it's like that's the character. So, generally speaking, though, is it going to be any good? Is it going to stick? Is it going to last? Who's to say? But
I think it's going to be like anything else in the comics universe. It's going to have its life, and it's going to peter out, and they're going to
Give her her own book. She'll become her own character. She'll become Iron something else.
Yeah, if it's anything good, then
that's what Marvel likes to do. Like you know, like I was saying, like 6 months later or a year later, 2-3 years later, depending on what they do, that character finds a way. Like you know, because they took over the mantle for a while, built up an audience and a fan base. Now we can push them off into their own book, and they can become a variant version of that Iron character,
much like Doctor Doom, and
then they'll get canceled.
Yeah, and then they'll get canceled. Right, chances are.
All right,
or they'll get a movie deal with Squirrel Girl.
Well, you know, there's no deal, but it's potential. There's potential. Give it time.
So Brooklyn, Prospect Park,
the borough of New York City.
Yes,
a stone's throw away from us, technically.
Basically, yeah. If you could throw a stone pretty far.
Ed's pantomiming throwing a stone.
No, it's not a stone's throw, but
it's too far.
We're in Brooklyn.
Anyway,
so
what's going on?
Prospect Park specifically is getting a quote big ass Captain America statue.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So the statue basically reads, there's a quote on top that says, "I'm just a kid from Brooklyn," even though that's false. And then it says, Hometown Pride, established 1941, celebrating 75 heroic years. And then there's a few levels down. Looks pretty fucking big. And then it says Captain America.
The thing that surprised me was that it looks a lot more like the movie version than the comics version.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
It looks a lot like...
Yeah, well, it needs to appeal to the most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it's... just going to really be serving the movie audience.
I feel like it's like this probably like this current version in the comics that's plays off of the movie version. Like, you know, the comics have their own kind of spin on Cap's suit right now. It's a little more armor-ish, padded-ish kind of a thing going on. Whatever, it's fine with that. What's cool is that they're doing it. What's cool is that it's a big-ass bronze statue. It'll turn green, and then pigeons will poop all over it.
Is it a bronze statue?
I thought it was.
I haven't really read
but point being that...
so
13 feet.
This Captain America is not wearing the classic suit? He's wearing a different suit?
He's wearing the
current suit?
The current comic book version, I believe.
Basically,
so when they get tired of the current suit and they go back to the new one, he's going to look totally outdated.
Well, they're probably never going to go back to
it actually looks identical
so?
to the movie suit.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
Yeah. And I'm saying,
that's still close to the original.
Yeah, and the current comic one is like just a play off of the movie suit, like I was saying before. Like,
right. I'm thinking like helmet, football, shoulder pad type things going on and stuff like that.
You're thinking of some 90s Iron Man.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking of NFL Pro. If you want to have a torturous moment, you can look up that comic book.
Wow, I actually know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I think you had that.
Tom's like NFL Pro. Marvel/.com. Look that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought maybe one day we'll never go there.
If you have trouble finding that, Dom, look up things that everyone's trying to forget.
Right.
I already forgot about
it. Good.
Okay.
Good move.
Yeah, good.
All right. So then
we
got a couple of things in the movie news department.
We do have some movie news here.
Mm-hmm.
So James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise at Marvel, has confirmed that Marvel Studios and Fox co-own the Skrull properties.
Right.
Okay.
So they co-own them, but Fox owns hard characters, established characters, and Marvel is allowed to use them outright, like overall. So Marvel can create new characters, I think, is the thing, and just use them blankly and flatly as an alien race. So
Fox,
not completely...
Right, I'm sorry. Fox has to use specific Skrulls that have already existed in the comic books.
Right, exactly.
Now, just to clarify for
what?
The uninitiated, who the Skrulls are.
Oh, they're just these kids from down the block.
Yeah.
No, they're these green, wrinkly chinned aliens that are shapeshifters, basically. And Marvel's more recent big crossovers was called Invasion, where characters found out that other characters had been secretly Skrulls for many, many years.
So, wait, was that Secret Invasion?
Secret Invasion, regular invasion. Do you think there's a
surprise
difference?
invasion?
So it was like when DC. What was it called? There was a DC in the 80s.
It's called Invasion.
No, it was called Millennium.
Millennium. Here we go again. Did we have this conversation already?
Yeah, with the
Lance Henriksen. Yes, we did have this conversation.
The Manhunters. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
and I know that we had this conversation.
It's a bad
already.
book.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, so there's some clarification on that. So if people are thinking that they It might never see the Skrulls, at least in a Marvel movie. Now there's a chance, and maybe James Gunn's mentioning it because he slipped them in there to a degree.
That might be that. Well, that would be perfect for this movie.
Oh yeah, it would.
It would perfectly fit right in.
I like it.
Yeah, no questions asked on putting them in that movie.
Mm-hmm. What a great reveal if that happens! Like like they don't even.
Right.
Like you don't even see Skrulls for the first 45 minutes.
Maybe what's his name? Star-Lord's father was a Skrull.
Maybe. And it's a big reveal. Like halfway through, and it's like, oh shit, there's Skrulls in the movie.
What's his name's in there, right?
Oh, pick one.
Yeah.
Because now you got Stallone is in it.
Really?
Doing something. Maybe just
Stallone
voiceover.
and Kurt Russell.
And Kurt Russell. So I got a feeling
so
Stallone
it's just
might
Tango
be
and
just...
Cash in space.
Yeah. Well, that's what the joke's. So we don't really know if Stallone is filming anything. I'm wondering if he's doing voiceover stuff, where he might be...
Like a CG character.
Like he might be like a Groot. Yeah. I think having Stallone do Groot.
Okay, that would actually make sense to you.
Because it's like
Groot's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you can give Groot a couple of lines and he sounds like believable.
Right, there you go. So with that, there's a little bit of Star Trek stuff. It's not really news as much as it's clarification on an old story.
Yeah.
That the very first Star Trek movie turned out that it was originally going to be about Deep Space Jesus.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
I just read the article.
Yes. In the dark time in the 70s, between the cancellation of Star Trek,
TV series
and the original series, TOS, as it's popularly known in some circles,
unnecessarily known as, but go ahead.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Right.
Gene Roddenberry developed 2 other feature-length movie scripts to be produced by Paramount.
Yes.
Both of which centered around religion. For some
strange, it was the last unconquered
that was
thing.
like the thing that Gene Roddenberry thought Star Trek had to go to.
Right, we have to challenge that too.
One of them was called the God Thing, and evidently,
he was out of good names. It seems.
Yes. But basically, the Enterprise would get caught up in something, and the big, giant climax in the end would be James T. Kirk going mano a mano with
Jesus.
an alien Jesus.
And literally, he was supposed to look like him, and kind of obviously have some more abilities that made you question, I guess his Jesusness, if he was the true Jesus. But he was supposed to look like Jesus and do Jesus-like stuff.
An alien that looked like Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, because cooler heads prevailed.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a Star Trek going on right now.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Pope would have killed it.
The money that was used to develop those scripts were tacked on to the budget for Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh, of
so
course.
If you're wondering why that movie's dog shit,
you're gonna blame it on the 2 scripts they had to pay for?
No, it's
that fucked up the budget.
It's a bad movie.
Okay, bad.
It's just a bad.
As long
movie.
as you're honest about it, because you were very honest about it earlier.
Yes, I was
a little bit.
But just interesting tidbit that was showing up on comicbook.com. Thought that would be fun to talk about. A lot of undeveloped Star Trek projects. You should check that out. Go Google stuff.
And now these days there's a lot of fan based projects that'll never happen.
For the best.
Yeah. Probably.
Moving on to the reboot report.
The
Russo
Russo brothers, who are behind the latest Captain America films.
A lot of Marvel stuff from them.
And some Marvel stuff. Are adapting the cult favorite The Warriors to TV.
Warriors! Come out and play!
That was pretty good.
I was trying. I did it better yesterday.
That was very good, too. I am a fan of the movie Warriors, so...
Yeah, me too.
I will
watched it several times. It's a classic, and I actually played the game. There was a PS2 game.
There was. I do remember that.
How was that?
That was good.
It was
good.
Just like every other PS2 game.
Yeah, it was a PS2 fighting game. Yeah,
and just very fun, but crazy fighting styles and shit like that. Kind of like Mortal Kombat, but had story.
Yeah, it was a little bit like Street Fighter.
Yeah,
like the 3D version of Street Fighter, and was it
a lot of batting people down?
Was it what was the one with the 2 brothers used to
Double Dragon?
Double Dragon, kind of like that.
It's kind of like what I was thinking of. I was like, okay, it's not a side scroller anymore. It's a 3D version of Double Dragon. Right. All right. Well,
Now, I got a quick question about the Warriors.
Sure.
Because I remember watching this movie, and I've seen it more recently, within the last 5 years or so. It was the first time I saw it. I don't know. Is it meant to be set in the future, or is it just they think that every single New Yorker under 25 is in a street gang
At that
that
time,
has matching uniforms?
What you have to understand is back in the 70s,
at that time,
New York was almost Detroit
yeah, it was
in real life.
Okay.
It was
So,
almost at that.
Yeah,
level.
New York City was just about absolutely dead broke.
Yeah.
So things were bad. 2,000 murders a year, that kind of stuff. So this is the kind of movie that resulted from that.
Yeah, it was a nightmare scenario to a degree.
Yeah.
But
It was like a
wasn't
post-apocalyptic New York, kind of like what was his name, Kurt Russell's movie.
far. I mean, it's not
Escape
that
from New
far
York.
setting up the post-apocalypticness, but you can feel something in the air of watching it, where like it does kind of feel like it's like
It's like this is the worst of New York.
This
yeah.
is societal
Worst
breakdown.
case scenario, New York.
yeah,
basically.
kind of a thing. Yeah, yeah.
But people still living there.
But everyone had matching uniforms.
Well, dude,
Well,
listen,
they all got together to play baseball, but then they all killed their friends at night. It
Yeah.
was kind of like what was that movie, The Purge?
It's a fun movie, though.
it's like Outsiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same as Outsiders, really.
No,
Grease-
it's not.
Yes, it is. The Greasers and the Socias had uniforms. You may not
Yeah,
think
but
of them
there
all-
actually were greasers and socias. That's
Fair enough.
That's the point I'm making.
Fair enough. I think
And
this
little
is,
kids play Little League every day.
and there were gangs in New York. Don't get me wrong. Like I think gangs in New York.
Really, they even made a movie with a title.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's,
No.
well, I mean, it's not like West Side Story. That's that's the one thing with like when you tell me gangs, I always think mafia. I don't go to like
Street gangs.
street gangs.
Street gangs. Well, you should. You should. You know, we're not talking about the mob.
No,
I'll specify.
That's organized.
No,
this
they
is a
don't.
little less. This is a little less organized.
These
you know.
guys, the mob works out of their basement and their
Yeah.
garage. You know,
These are the guys
work-
that wake up one day and go, you know what? I didn't like what happened with that freaking guy last night. I want to get Tony and my friends together. We're going to get a couple of bats, put nails in them. I'm going to go there, kick their freaking asses. That's the kind of guys these are.
Which guys now? That's the
Right?
mob or that's the gangs?
That's the gangs. Although
okay.
the mob does the same thing
Yeah, I
too.
was gonna say, except
but
without the
but they all
nails.
do it from social clubs,
Yeah, right, exactly.
right?
Hold 'em
and
here,
pizzerias,
Henry.
you know,
Hold 'em here, Henry.
storefronts
Keep them here, Henry. I'll
that
be
they
right
own,
back.
not where they meet each other.
All right. All right, so Kiefer Sutherland is signing on for a Flatliners reboot. Flatliner.
I don't even know. I don't know what this is. What is it?
It's fair enough. Just read it anyway.
It was a mediocre movie back in like
Fuck
1990
with you.
something.
So it's like a mediocre horror movie from back in then,
Right.
and it's like him and I think Jason Patrick maybe,
The-
Juliana
what's her name?
Margulies or something like that. You know what I mean? And it was good.
Julia
It was
Roberts
good.
was in it.
It,
right?
it was good. It had I think who else was in it?
Kevin Bacon, Billy Baldwin.
Thank you.
Julia Roberts, Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt. That's the one I couldn't think of. But yeah, it was like a little bit of a who's who at the time, and so it's just interesting in general that they're rebooting it. And I didn't think they were going to get him to sign up for it. So the fact that they got him to sign up for it, I think just
I guess
not
he's
that
going to
is-
be the Oliver Platt role this time.
I mean, he's probably going to be the scientist guy. I think he's too old to be Oliver Platt. Oliver Platt was actually one of them.
Oh,
He was
he's
a
one of them?
He was a
Okay.
contemporary at the time
Okay.
because they were all younger then.
Right.
Like, you know
So
what I mean?
who was the professor? Because they had a professor that
It's
they
probably
went
like
to.
Donald Sutherland.
That's right.
come here.
It's about five.
Thanks for
med-
the job.
5 med students who tried to trigger near-death experiences by stopping their hearts, and the movie was all about them confronting all the sins of their past.
Right, they're demons. Their inner demons would manifest.
Yeah.
At first in a dreamlike kind of thing, and then would find their way into the real world kind of a thing, which was kind of cool. It was creepy enough. It wasn't. It didn't make a whole lot of money.
And Ellen Page is going to be in the remake.
Yeah, so that's something. I don't know who else was on the list for the other actors. Was it anybody else?
No. Diego Luna, Nina Dobrev, James Norden, and Kiersey Clemens. Anyone
Nina
recognize those names?
Dobrev, I think,
Nina
is the
Dobrev,
girl
I know.
from Vampire Diaries, right?
I probably couldn't tell you what she's from, but I could spot her if I saw her.
Fair enough. And
Emails.
yeah, emails. We do emails.
Do you want to start with the Edmails?
Yeah, I think that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's
Okay.
do what we normally do.
All right, I got 4 questions for everybody this week.
All right,
Gentlemen,
sir.
why doesn't Willie Nelson shave?
I guess it's for the same reason he doesn't own a $5,000 or $6,000 acoustic guitar, and he just uses that one with the big hole in the body. He's too cheap.
Yeah, it's either that or it's a source of his alien power.
Oh,
Oh,
like
that
Samson.
might be it.
see that I buy.
Yeah, it makes more sense, right?
Yeah. All right, gentlemen,
Maybe he's Muslim.
What does Johnny Storm cook for himself on a lonely night at home?
Anything within reach.
Can't really argue with that one. Yeah.
I was going to go somewhere like that also.
Yeah, whatever it is, he probably burns it. It's probably. I get a feeling it's taking a long time.
He's doing a lot of takeout because he's burning a lot.
Reheating is easy.
Yeah.
But the whole extended period of time with flame on a thing is probably hard to manage.
Does he own a stove or a microwave?
Well, just because they come with the house, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
'Cause
yeah.
he's got a hot plate.
Yeah. As long as his fire extinguisher.
As long as he's got a plate, he's got a hot plate.
That's true.
All right, gentlemen.
Sir.
Very technical question.
All right.
When does a grilled cheese become a panini?
When you put a 5-pound weight on top of it.
Basically, it's supposed to be about the bread. It's supposed to be about the size and the shape of the bread. That's supposed to be what actually is a panini, is the loaf and style of bread. But it can still be a panini grilled cheese if all you're putting in there is cheese. You know what I mean? It's still technically just a giant. It's just a bigger grilled cheese now, or an oblong grilled cheese.
Okay. See, I thought the filling might be, but you're saying it's the bread.
Well, because I think it's about
It's partly the process and the bread.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a fact that you need a press. You're supposed to use a press on it, a hot press.
Yeah.
Or a weight if you're doing it just on the grill. But usually the bread is a different shape than just like you're not going to get your loaf.
It's supposed to be
you're not going to get your loaf of white bread. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Bob. What did you say? As someone else was talking?
I'm sorry. I was trying to help you.
But I was already talking.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. Fair enough.
And finally, the important question of the day.
Hit me with it.
What musical act would headline Superman's funeral?
I don't know. Superman's funeral.
What was the
Deathlock.
song at the end of the new Batman vs Superman?
It's probably something by Green Day.
Whatever.
No, I think it was instrumental. It was
something horrible.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Elvis going, and now the end is near.
Yeah, there you go. A little Elvis. I bet you Superman's a big Elvis fan. For some reason, I feel like there's something going on there.
He's very small town home,
Yeah, it's Midwest.
Isn't
Midwest.
that a Sinatra song?
Well, I remember Elvis singing it when I was a kid.
Oh,
They probably.
It is a Sinatra song. Though,
And
you're
everybody
right.
covered everybody's songs within like 25 minutes
that's
back
true.
then.
That's true. They were standards. Rogers and Hart wrote everything.
Yeah, exactly. Good times. Why can't Drake just write everything down?
Oh, Gershwin.
Good times. But outside of that, I got nothing.
No one. You don't think anyone who could come up with that really heart-wrenching ballad that's going to make everyone around the world cry?
Whitney Houston?
Eric Clapton.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Eric Clapton's dying.
Eric Clapton. Yeah. Tears in Heaven? Tears in Heaven?
That's what I'm saying. Tears in Krypton. Someone write the lyrics. I'll sing them next week.
Derek and the Dominoes? Okay.
Maybe a little AC/DC.
Back in Black.
I mean, that would be like Tony Stark's funeral.
That would be, obviously Tony Stark. Movie Tony Stark would definitely have
Highway to Hell.
But you were looking for something more somber, something a little heartfelt.
Maybe. I don't know.
Danny Boy.
Dropkick Murphys, I guess. That's what we're doing. I don't know.
Shipping up the
Cool.
heaven.
That's all for me this week.
All right. Well, thanks, buddy.
See you later, guys.
All right. Get out.
No, I'm back.
Oh, shit. Way to ruin it. All right. Outside of you, we do get other emails, my friend, and we got the 3 usual suspects.
Ooh. Okay.
And we're going to start with Brian Hughes.
Hey, Brian.
He says, "Yo, gents. Hope this email finds you well and not riddled with bullets." I'm going to stop because it turned Irish real quick. What the fuck is going on over there?
Quite the Jon Snow you just did there, actually.
Jon Snow. You got to try and do Scrooge
Well,
McDuck.
maybe that's Tormund.
You got to try to do Scrooge McDuck. Scottish.
That's what you're going with?
Well, no, okay. fuck it, fuck it,
I thought you wanted to rethink
I do
that.
this to
Shit in
entertain
me
him.
stew. That's the one I always.
What is that?
Just read the
Shat in me
goddamn email.
stew.
Shit in your stew?
Shat in me stew.
Why would you shat in that?
I don't know. That's just like when you hear Scottish accents. That's like the go-to phrase.
That's how you warm up with the
Yeah.
Scottish accent?
Yeah. Like when you warm
Is
up.
that
for-
like how you say you don't like the food?
No, like for walking.
Someone shot in me stew?
That's someone shat in me stew. But like.
Well, what's funny is like when I try and do my Grant Morrison, I have to have him say Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like
it's Alan
like
fucking Moore.
Christopher Walken. The trick is to take one syllable words
Yeah.
and make them 2 syllables. Like no.
Right. You have to put an emphasis on it. All right. Anyway,
That's the constipation sound.
something like that. So he says, "Yo, gents." I'm going to read this as if He's from New York City. Hope this email finds you well and not riddled with bullets. What the fuck is going on over there? Nutters with guns just mowing down people. It's crazy. Crazy times. Thanks for reminding us. That's all true. What is your favorite? He's got 3 questions. What is your favorite Kevin Smith flick? We'll go around the table. I'll start with Ed because I'm locking eyes. Kevin Smith flick? You need more time. Bob?
Clerks 2.
Okay. Clerks 2?
Clerks 2. Yeah, I think that's a good culmination.
How about you, Bob?
Clerks.
Just original Clerks?
Clerks.
All
Love
right.
it. Love it for its values. Its cost. $25,000.
Everything.
The black and white. One place basically for the whole
Right.
movie.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
How many times have people
Right?
said that?
When they go out and play hockey, what do they do? It on the roof.
On the
roof.
On the roof. yeah.
They couldn't do it out in the street. They probably would have got a summons. So on the roof.
Yeah. It's tough for me. I want to say Clerks. I don't want to say Dogma, and I really can't pick.
Dogma's another wonderful one.
I feel
Buddy
like
Jesus
Dogma,
is
I feel like
just
Dogma's
the
the
man.
opposite of that. Like where like Clerks is like, obviously like Bob said, it's like everything about it being homegrown, and then Clerks is like, I finally got some money to do some shit. Here I go, and it's like, okay, it's working. Don't look at it too much; it'll fall apart. You know what I mean? But it's good.
What's funny, like that Clerks is a cheap budget for that type of movie.
For what?
Yeah.
Clerks was only they made
It's like
that.
$1.35.
Yeah,
They
it's
made
like
it for-
$25,000.
He brought a bunch of recycling back.
No, they made it for like $10 million. That was.
I think it was like
No, I'm sorry, not Clerks. Dogma.
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 Yes,
Dogma,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Clerks
Yes.
was like 10,000.
Clerks he made it off of his credit cards.
Yeah, Clerks was 27 grand.
and buying like unused film.
Yeah.
It was like a discount.
Film stock, black and white stock, and stuff like that. Yeah.
literally.
No one wanted it. Yeah, take it.
Basically, it was unfinished reels. Dom,
I'm gonna just have to go with Jay and Silent Bob.
the
Strike Back.
Strike Back.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's a stoner
It's a
classic for sure.
It's a classic.
and it's actually one of the funnier ones.
Yeah.
Series. Like just
very
as far as fun.
I am the Clit Commander.
Yeah, that's
There you go. So Brian's next question, number 2, is what is the most exotic meat? For instance, like crocodile or kangaroo, or something like that we've ever eaten. I think exotic. Like I've never gone that exotic. I think the craziest thing I've actually probably eaten is like rabbit when I was a little kid. And I don't remember it, but I'm told that's what happened. And
Oh, yeah,
deer.
Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa.
I had quail once on a cruise.
On a cruise. Well, that's fucking fancy. Pinky's out on this cruise, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, fucking fancy.
Yeah, it was a carnival.
It was
No, it was seagull. They shot it in the back of the ship. while
as soon as you said
while you were on
carnival,
the
I
other
was
side of
like-
the ship, they were up with shotguns.
yeah, something like that. Because as soon as you said carnival, I was like, that shit was not
It
quail.
said it
Yeah.
said quail on the menu.
No,
Was it
those
an
guys
Italian food?
they weren't shooting skeet in the back.
Was it like quail and like copyright? Like it was because it was some off spelling of quail.
With
You
the
know,
little crunchy bits that you should have spit out, maybe the little bits of buckshot.
bone. How about you, Bob? What's the craziest thing? Exotic meat,
Exotic meat?
like animal wise, like.
I had nothing because I wouldn't eat the rabbit that day with Grandpa.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. What was I, 6?
Yeah,
I was like,
and
bunnies?
snake. Well,
Okay.
Grandpa would eat anything. He ate snake in front of me, and one time he took me with him to go crabbing at the dump, and then he boiled them and ate them with me there.
He was a brave man.
So
he's still alive. He is still alive.
he's like 9,000 years old
Still
now.
alive, your
Well,
grandfather.
I remember
Yeah.
recently.
Technically, he's not our grandfather. He's our step grandfather. But yeah,
I remember recently hearing somewhere on some podcast that when you were literally used to eat a lot of weird seafood.
Yeah, well, that was from Sal. Yeah. This is where it all came from.
yeah.
Not escargot, but snails and scungeel, but all this raw, a lot of raw stuff. I mean, it's where I
Yeah,
get
well,
my
our
love of
grandfather grew up in a
seafood.
very old world Italian house where it was like eat or don't eat or die. So it's like you eat.
Yeah, like
Whatever it is, it don't matter. Just eat.
like I got yelled at like when we had spare ribs one time. I remember having spare ribs there. Like for whatever reason, we must have got Chinese food, and like I didn't eat down to the bone enough.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had to, like you know when
Yeah.
you eat spare ribs, and it's like that kind of layer, that film that's like actually adhered to the bone.
It's gristle.
It's like gristle, and you can peel
Yeah.
it off. Like
No, he'll-
that's fucking food too. Like I wasn't like you got to eat that shit. And I'm like, all right. I mean, now I do anyway.
That
because I
happened
was
to me with
trained.
corn on the cob.
Sure, you
believe
probably
it or
had to eat the cob, right?
not. Just about.
What is this? The Great
I wouldn't
Outdoors?
do well on this.
Exactly.
That was only one side of the family. We had the other side of the family was the same thing because these are people that all grew up during the
I
Depression.
was just gonna say it's depression era mentality.
Yeah. You know,
Grandma on the other side with the syrup
I
bottle.
mean, this is people who they would take like bars of soap, that little sliver that's left. They would take them, put them on the side, and then as you would take showers and you'd see them pile up, and then they take them and put them all together and use that as a bar of soap.
And like that's that. There you
Okay.
go. You got soap now that you
There
were
you
probably
go.
going to throw away.
Wow.
And Grandma with the empty syrup bottle with the
And the socks that are so thin you could see through, and they were all sewn back together.
oh my god, good times, good times.
Not our socks, our grandparents' socks.
And the only thing out of that the last thing to say about all that kind of shit living is liverwurst.
It was a delicacy.
Yeah. Well, that's
Even the worst about a liverwurst is when you get it in pate form.
Well, it's liverwurst. It is pate form. It's just firm enough that you can slice it.
Right.
That shit you can eat it with a spoon if you want to.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I was working on a job once, and we ordered lunch from a deli, and my manager ordered some kind of sandwich with salami in it, and they ran out of salami, so without asking, they just replaced it with liverwurst.
Wow, that's a new guy.
Oh no,
that's a fucking
disgusting.
new guy move.
That you never do. You never do that.
Let me tell you, that's like
that guy got fired right after that sandwich was served.
You should have heard him on the phone.
Oh, I can only imagine. All right, Dom, do you have an exotic meat? I don't mean personally, but I mean that you've consumed.
Red meat, I'd have to go with probably just venison, deer.
Yeah,
but like I've eaten shark before.
Oh, that's something. It's better than I have.
Which is pretty good, actually.
Nice. All right, Brian, here's the third question. He says, Dig Dug and Manic Miner are two of my favorite old school games. What's yours? Old school games, or as old school as you can go back.
Pac-Man. The original arcade version of Pac-Man.
That's a good one.
Space Invaders.
Ed?
I don't know if it's been documented on this podcast.
Oh, who cares? Say it again.
Oh, come on, just...
Okay, I didn't play video games as a kid because my parents didn't believe in paying for them.
Yes,
Oh
you have.
my
Yeah.
god!
But I used to go over.
forgot.
I used to go over to my cousin's house. He had a Genesis and a bunch of other consoles. But the one I remember playing for hours on end with him was Streets of Rage.
Okay.
Streets of Rage. Which
Yeah,
one is
there's
that?
It's with.
It's like Double Dragon, I think.
It was Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, well, that one. Now I remember.
Yeah, no.
Get the fuck out of here.
So that first part of that story we didn't necessarily need to hear because you actually had played a video game.
Right.
That was like I play it like once a month.
Right,
But you
right,
played.
right,
You
right.
could answer the question.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
We'll be fine.
Just busting your chops.
Anyway. That was got an image of... Yes! Okay, yes. Streets of Rage. I remember that shit vividly. How about you, Dom? Old school?
Probably like Street Fighter from, arcade and shit.
Super NES?
What?
From the Super NES?
Yeah.
Is that where you come in at? Did you grow up with regular Nintendo?
Yeah.
The original?
The 64?
NES.
No.
No.
Super NES.
No.
64.
Sega Dreamcast.
No.
Okay.
Nintendo 64.
I had a Sega, though.
You did have a Sega.
I did.
Okay.
It was a hand-me-down, obviously.
Right. But that's kind of cool. I
But
mean, that
it
you
was
had
from
a
like
system.
older
Sega
cousins.
Genesis.
Yeah.
So
But,
what was the first system that you remember getting?
Brand new?
Yeah, brand new, like for Christmas or birthday or whatever it was, like
Probably.
first
I
official.
don't remember which one came first. I'd have to look it up, but it was either like the original PlayStation or the original GameCube.
Ooh, GameCube. Because you ended up having both at some point.
Because I had both. Because I think PlayStation came first.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it did.
That holds.
So it was definitely the PS1.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
The
Nintendo
gray
64
one
would have been the
with
same time as the PlayStation, original PlayStation.
Okay.
GameCube was next generation.
So
Right.
yeah, 64 I had also. I really didn't play that much, so my dad was more into that.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I did not know Dad played some video games.
Oh, he's big. He loves video games.
I'm gonna have to bust his balls now.
He's fucking mad at me that I won't spend money on the fucking Xbox One or the PS4, but
Why? So he can play some.
Well, he's
Madden?
got a job. Tell him to buy it.
he's got a
what
pretty
the
good
fuck is
job.
that?
Tell him to
about
wait.
that?
No, tell him now he's got to wait till the Xbox One S comes out
Exactly.
in September.
Tell him you'll
October.
split it with him.
Can't play the fucking new.
Don't waste his
fucking,
money on the current generation
What
one.
is it? The fucking golf games? What are the golf games? Oh, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
He likes the Tiger Woods. Games.
Okay, that's like his one carryover.
and
like,
he used to play Grand Theft Auto a lot.
Yeah, huh? Just drive around and crash.
Where do you
into
think
people.
Where do you think that fucking Vice City sticker in the window?
Oh, that's
at work
right.
came
I
from?
forgot. I forgot that came from your house.
Yeah,
And
it
I was
came from the PS2 Vice City game from my house.
Nice,
I knew a guy in high school who used to drive around with the Vice City soundtrack, which was like 10 discs.
Yeah,
Not
because
necessary,
it was
yeah.
the Vice City soundtrack was basically awesome. It was everything from 80s, 90s.
And that's, folks, why I'll disagree about it being awesome.
I really don't remember. I didn't play that game.
It was it was all inclusive. It wasn't like there was one or two hard rock songs and it was all a hip hop thing or anything like that, like you get now.
Well, that's not true either. I think still to this day, the Grand Theft Auto's thing is about like every radio station's got its own.
Right. Oh yeah, like Grand Theft Auto. Yes.
Yeah.
In general, most games you don't get that.
Oh no! I'll agree with you on that. And if maybe like sports games a little bit. There's more of a
rock leaning to it because it's more of a middle class white
variety anyway. You know, I wouldn't even say rock leaning completely, but I'll say there's more variety.
No, there's more variety.
Just that sports games, the soundtracks of sports games, as opposed to like other games.
Well, you're going to hear more of that at sports games. So you're going to hear that more in the sports games.
That's true. So Brian Hughes wraps it up and says, "Take it easy, chaps."
See you later.
Thanks for the email, Brian.
Yeah.
Cheers, Brian. Next, Agent Palmer.
Hey.
I was like,
I said boo.
Did you say boo? I could barely hear it, so I was like, oh shit. So he says to the Wicked podcast of theories. He's going to break it down a little bit different this week. We're going to do this a little bit like a TV kind of thing. So he says, welcome to this edition of Palmer Mail. First, some news. I must have missed a memo or gone into a time warp. Apparently, Pokemon is a thing again. Yeah. And now it's causing car accidents and all kinds of chaos. Is there any game that you've been that addicted to? We were just talking about video games a little bit.
No.
But, like, what was no big, crazy game addiction?
No.
Or one particular series that you're like, I've played every game in that series? How about that? Like for me, I'd say God of War. I played every game of God of War. That's like the only series I've actually committed to by the end of it when you look back.
I'm definitely Assassin's Creed on that, even though after Black Flag, I had to stop playing them because that game was absolutely horrendous.
Fair enough. Okay.
So
there's a limit to everything.
There is. The limit does not exist.
Oh. For you, Bob?
I'm not in. I'm playing the current generation, but I have nothing that like screams to me like I got to keep playing like these games over and over again. Right. Last generation I wasn't really into, so it's been you know what I mean. I was out of it for a little while, so I really can't say nothing.
No.
Okay,
I got nothing.
Fine, fair enough.
But I can tell you, the Pokemon Go, the guy who I drive to work with every day,
right, has
that game, and he kept telling me to pull over on the Staten Island Expressway so that he could pick up a Pidgeotto. Because evidently it's...
Don't tell me there's geocache kind of thing.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's all over the place. And then we got to the parking lot of where
That's
we
why
worked,
it's causing...
He's like, oh my God, our parking lot's a gym!
Jesus Christ.
So he can sit in the middle of the parking lot and battle people.
Right,
I'm guessing that's what he did at lunch.
Yeah. And why he's probably going to lose his job. Mm-hmm. All right, so so to follow through, I should say, with Palmer's new format here, we go next over to Dom with sports. Dom, I'm sorry to hear that your ace, Matt Harvey, is done for the season. Could you please explain to Bill, in geek terms, how this will impact your beloved Mets? So do you have a geek analogy, maybe, so I can understand this situation with Matt Harvey?
Okay, so in years past, Matt Harvey was, the premier starting pitcher in the National League for the most part.
Right.
Sorry.
World class. 2013 had a great season. Got injured. Came back. 2015 great season. Led them to the World Series. This year, long story short, hasn't been playing well at all. Obviously, it's been because of this injury. But to put it into geek terms, imagine if the Avengers lost Tony Stark in his prime.
Wow. In his prime.
Not Cap.
Not Cap,
Tony.
Of course, because
he's a bit of a playboy.
Right. Oh, it's like that.
It's like that.
Oh, okay. He might have gotten a STD and had to leave the bench. I got you. I understand that.
But, he's... honestly, Palmer, it would mean a lot to me last year, but he's just been so bad this year that it just doesn't even matter.
It's not that big a loss. It's almost not that big a loss.
It's like every one of their star players has been dropping like flies every game, so it's just another fucking guy that's out.
You're just losing them left and right like that?
Oh, it's a shit show? It is a cursed season.
Wow.
Sometimes that happens in sports. Just like you never get started.
Right.
You don't get you never get a spot where everyone's healthy at the same time. Someone's always out.
Sounds like a bad investment. All right. Let's make money. All right. So his next question goes over to Bob. Moving on. It's time for Brother Bob's Music Mayhem.
Okay.
I didn't write this shit. He goes, whatever.
Maybe you should help him write this shit.
It's not so, well, I'm digging this week.
You're always on Skype with him.
He did this one all on his own. What era of music would you like to have to see have a resurgence? What era of music would you like to see have a resurgence?
I guess late 80s.
All right.
No. 83 to 87, 88.
That's a very specific window.
Yeah.
All right. Palmer, that answers your question. So if that's not enough for you to figure out, go fuck yourself. All right. Then he says, transitioning to Bill for entertainment theory.
Okay.
What classic pre-1990s TV show should be re-aired weekly in its entirety? Well, this goes back to what we were saying talking earlier, I think, a little bit about they should do that. What pre-1990s TV show?
Should be re-aired in its entirety.
Small Wonder. I think the faces I got from the table, like, what is Small Wonder? The
Dick
worst.
Christie?
The worst. Small, she's a small wonder.
Maria Pennington?
It's a horrible syndicated half-hour comedy show about a guy who builds a robot daughter, and she's about 12, and super strong, It's basically like Data from fucking Star Trek, and she's we're testing her out for the company, but the company doesn't know, so we have to keep it a secret at the house, and the neighbor kid and her and she talks like this all the time. But no one ever notices that Vicky, the human-looking fucking robot, talks like a robot.
4 seasons, 96 episodes.
That's a lot. That's more than they should have had.
It's also funny because 100 episodes was the syndication birth at that time. So it was almost like the TV gods stopped it right in time, saying we got to stop this.
Well, they probably were like, "Oh my God, she's she's going to look like she's 25 any minute now. She's supposed to be perpetually 12."
No, they could have made 4 more and then sold it into syndication, and they went, "No."
But it was already in this. It was already one of these, like, you only saw it on Saturdays. It was already in syndication in a sense where once Star Trek broke that mold.
Oh, no. What I mean is
rerun syndication.
Yeah,
rerun
syndication.
All right, so kids, you can look that up and have a torturous time with that. So lastly, he's got some quick questions here, but they're not that quick.
I can't even stand these production stills. Sorry.
No, it's a horrible. She's basically wearing like a red French maid's outfit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All
Which
right.
is not nice.
All right,
lastly, to finish it up with some heartwarming questions. These aren't really heartwarming. He says, but you, all of us, each of us, are the final boss in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
What is your pre-battle quote? What is your battle location, your battle music, and your special move?
Jesus Christ.
I told him to send it in another one. He didn't want to hear it. He said it was up to me based on time. And we have time, but it's like, no. So my pre-battle quote is, fuck all of you. Not you guys at the table.
Right, whoever you're fighting.
Yeah,
you're
fuck
fighting.
all of you. Because everything has to have like
Right.
a 4-beat.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah,
strict.
because it's very limited. They have
It's
exactly
all-
8 notes to work
exactly,
with.
it's all 8-bit
They got
based.
one scale.
Right. Ding, ding,
Not
ding.
even like one run through the whole alphabet, just one scale.
Just everything in
The
sync.
musical alphabet is like, okay, that's it.
Right, so
We
my
have
battle
C.
location is going to be the abysmal plain, like the bottom of the ocean. My battle music is Punishment Due by Megadeth. My special move is because it's the bottom of the ocean, is a super uppercut where I launch you so fast upwards that basically you get the bends, the pressurization kind of thing, and the nitrous separates in your bloodstream kind of thing. 'Cause that's what happens when you get the bends, and that's how I kill you. If anybody else wants to play along, you can. Anybody else?
I'm stumped.
Oh, I got you.
All right, hit me with it.
My catchphrase is I don't drink coffee.
That's true.
And
your battle location?
A tobacco farm.
Okay, how about music?
Music, we're going Freebird.
Just keeps getting better. All right, and your special move?
Time for a good long battle.
Tobacco farm, Freebird, it's working. All right, and your special move?
Spontaneous combustion.
You don't even know when it's going to happen.
Yes.
Right,
exactly.
okay.
He just wants to take out the tobacco farm and keep people from smoking.
That sounds like he's going to burn down the tobacco farm and have a cup of coffee. No, you don't.
No, I don't drink coffee.
Sorry, boss.
I don't do coffee, bro.
Sorry, boss. Anybody else?
Nah, I'm stumped.
Stumped, Bob. You got anything you want to play along on this at all?
You're going to have to help me
all right,
out.
So your final boss, what's your pre-battle quote?
Die, human scum.
There you go. Your location?
That one. Let's come back to that one.
Okay, what is the music, the battle music?
I don't know, whatever I feel like playing on my guitar at the moment.
Fair enough, okay. So maybe that tells us about your special move. What is your special move?
It's going to have to be the giant axe swing with the big 6-string.
There you go. That's what I figured with the guitar. How about the location?
Actually, I got another one, too.
All right, well, let's go location.
All right, location.
On stage? If we're gonna
Madison Square Garden.
There you go. Fair enough. All right, you had another move?
The giant power cord.
The power cord of death. Like,
right, the power cord, like the sound wave, like knock you back.
Right. And if you're playing like a
and then when you're knocked down, then you come back with the big swing with the axe and
there
knock
you
him,
go. Right.
smash the skull in.
That's 3 different scenarios. Let's see a fan art challenge.
The fan art challenge.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
By Palmer.
By Palmer.
Palmer, start drawing.
There you go. Well, last time we told him that, he was like, you guys are messing
Learn how to draw, bitch.
He's not a fan. He's a junkie. I don't really know.
He's a semi-employee at this point.
We all love you, Palmer.
We love you, buddy. So he says, thanks. That's it for this week's. Bonus. How does the hero defeat you? I'm not even going to go into that. As the final boss, you have to fight me like 7 times before you figure out the pattern. Mm-hmm. And that's how he'll defeat.
Well, for me,
if we're a final boss, basically that's what that means. Like you have to fight enough that you figure out the pattern and what you have to do.
Well, for me, it's the same answer.
Well, sometimes they change color.
So for me, it's the same answer: spontaneous combustion.
Fair enough. And then
Bob with me, it would be like the lights above change my hair color.
Right. And that's when
and
you
then
know
when it turns
he's
a certain
vulnerable.
color is when you know it's vulnerable. You just got to figure out which color.
Keeping with the video game theme. All right, so we're moving on to Stephanie Muniz. She says, "Hey, yous guys."
Hey, Steph.
Hey, Stephanie. How you
Sammy!
doing? Oh, Sammy. Look at that. He knows. All right, so Steph
Which
here.
was from Phoenixzona, right?
Phoenixzona?
Yeah, Arizona, Phoenixzona, Phoenix.
I guess so.
Somewhere.
I like it. I'll take it. Steph here. I don't really have much this week, but I do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Have you heard of Pokemon Go? It's a new Pokemon game phone app that you can download, and if you physically wander around in real life, you can capture Pokemon. It's become a craze, and like most crazes, people are abusing it. I just read an article where a guy caused a major traffic accident because he stopped in the middle of a freeway to try to capture Pikachu. It's crazy what some people will do. I'm glad that she sent the story, though, because we were kind of curious as to what the deal was. It's crazy what some people will do when it comes to a free downloadable phone game. So my question, have you ever downloaded a game on your phone or PC and become obsessed with it? And this is going to go back to what we said before. Obsessed, I don't know how, not that obsessed. But granted, nothing I've played has put me in that position to be real-world obsessed like that.
I mean...
Well...
I haven't really become obsessed, but like there was a point where I couldn't stop 2048ing.
What is that?
2048?
Oh, that's the when you got to do the multiplication and you got to add up.
Oh,
numbers
no wonder
to
I don't know what it
2048.
is.
No, it's boxes, and you had to go 2 = 4. Basically, you keep combining numbers until
it equals exactly.
It equals exactly 2048.
Okay, it's a math game.
Sort of. It's like a blocks combination game.
Okay,
Right.
so. You basically can just kind of fuck around.
Yeah,
you get
just
it.
swiping. Just endless, mindless game.
There was a point where I was kind of craving a SimCity kind of game, and I found one, Megapolis, I think it was.
Okay.
And I actually got to a point where I was actually spending money on it, and that never happened to me before. I wasn't spending a lot because I didn't have a lot, but I was actually spending.
The fact that you were
money
spending
on
anything
at all,
was a sign.
I mean, it was $20 a week. Yeah, at one point it got up to like at one point I spent $100, and I was like, "That's it, I'm done."
Yeah,
That's it. After that week, I said, "That's it, I'm done."
I I didn't get obsessed, but I can key into that kind of stupid thing because I found myself in the PlayStation Avatar fucking thing, buying stupid things for my Avatar character.
Yeah.
Like,
See, that's why I do what I do with the surveys. Because I can do that now for free.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah,
All the money I get from doing surveys, I turn into cash I can use for Xbox.
Right, and then you can
stuff,
spend it
and
on,
I can spend that.
And then you don't feel like you're
wasting. And when I get
it.
enough, I can actually buy a game if I wanted to.
Nice. So, lastly, she says, I recently finished my recap of Phoenix Comic-Con, wherein I shared some of my celebrity encounters. If you could meet one celebrity, who would it be and why? Anybody off the top?
Me and Bill were actually just talking about it the other day.
Which is crazy because I can't remember what the hell we were talking about.
I was talking. I mean, no one's probably going to know who it is at this table besides Bill. But we were talking about my favorite rapper, Logic.
Oh yeah.
Me and Bill have become. Well,
I know who he is.
But oh, you know who he is? Well, probably because you've heard me fucking talk about him.
Yeah, I see him on TV. They talk about him on Good Morning America.
Really?
And some of the girls put it on TMZ and.
Really?
Maybe because
I'm surprised because he's kind of like underground a little bit. Not like underground,
but he's
not.
breaking in a way.
He's
right
breaking
now.
in a way right now where he's actually been pictured with somebody in on TMZ. So
cool. Yeah. Well,
TMZ. I can see it on TV.
He's very similar to myself and like all of us at the table, where he's really into nerd stuff.
Some pop culture stuff.
He's just a normal guy. He's not like one of those.
I want to be a hardcore type guys. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a throwback kind of thing.
Then that's good. That's kind of what we need right now. I think 'cause it's a little bit of overkill.
Yeah.
We're oversaturated.
He's definitely different, and he seems like a really cool dude.
Yeah, and
he definitely seems grounded. And I was telling Bill the other day that I've never really wanted to like become friends with like a celebrity before, or like had the need to be. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I need to go spend money on that meet and greet and meet that guy or whatever. But him, I actually would because he seems like a really nice.
Yeah, you kind of feel like you can have a connection with him. That's cool.
I mean, not that anything would come out of it.
No. Let's chill, but
right, but the similarities there. Real similarities.
How about you, Ed? Anybody?
I mean, it's a little obscure, but Nicholas Meyer.
Okay.
He's a writer, movie director. He directed probably the best set of Star Trek movies in the 80s and 90s.
Okay. Is that one of those with the dolphin?
The Whales.
The Whale.
He wrote that one.
Okay.
But he directed Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 6. And Time After Time.
The Cyndi Lauper story?
No.
Oh.
No. H.G. Wells follows Jack the Ripper in 1979. And he wrote some great Sherlock Holmes novels. And he just, like, if you hear his DVD commentaries, it's the, I just want to have a conversation with the guy. That's really it. He's a really interesting character.
All right. How about you, Bob?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I don't know. You were being a jerk. You were kind of pretending you were falling asleep during someone else's response.
No, I was listening. Listening.
Okay. You were focused listening.
Someone I would want to meet?
Yeah.
Celebrity? Nobody, really.
All right. I
met a couple, but no big deal.
Right.
You know, when I was 18 and I was doing messenger work, messenger work, I met a few. So
kind of met your heroes.
No, I didn't meet any heroes. None of them are really heroes to me. You know.
All right.
So it's just
nobody for you.
Right. It's not that. It's never really been a big deal about me, celebrities and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly impressed like a lot of people. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, Dupe standing up like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just got lucky when we didn't.
I guess. Yeah, for me, maybe Stephen King or I don't know. I'd have to think about it more. Probably somebody from the comic field, but probably Stephen King or Quentin Tarantino, maybe. That's probably it. That's probably it for me. Like outside of those two, and it's only like two. It's only like, am I going to get the chance to pick this guy's brain, or am I just shaking a hand and moving on?
Exactly.
You know, because that's the other thing too. Like if you do get to meet somebody that you kind of want to meet, it's like, you know, like a meet and greet. So these kinds of like, you know, set up kind of situations. It's like that doesn't ever seem like a kind of thing where you'd get to have anything out of it. You know. Right. But so that's that. And then Steph says, that's it for me this week. Have a great show, guys. Steph, we already did. And I'm glad you were part of it. Thanks to her and to Brian Hughes.
Yes,
and to Adrian
thank
Palmer.
you, everybody.
Thanks to Ed for sending emails, although, you know, at this point, it's kind of like, you know, not really the same, but whatever. Appreciate it, though. We appreciate it. And I think that's going to wrap us up.
Okay.
You know, Man, you know, maybe next time I'll get to this thing I want to do, but we'll do it next time because we're at like an hour and a half, and we should just kind of bail. Time being what it is.
Something to look forward to.
If I ever do it, we'll find out. One of these days, these things, that's what they do. That's what they do now. They escalate. All right, Bob, take us out of here whenever you're feeling frisky.
Oh, no, talking.
Yeah, I guess what?
Yeah, we're talking about how what can we talk? Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, the whole plugs, the plugs.
Oh, yeah,
thing.
the plugs.
Nice.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, I guess.
Drop
All
some
right.
handles.
We'll go around. Dom, where can people find you at if they want
You
to
guys
find
already
you?
have me on Twitter.
Right, the three of you that listen already follow.
But if you don't, you can follow me on Twitter at Dom_Tory. That's TORRE.
Very nice.
I am at Edward O'Hare TBD.
Thank you.
At Bob WTPC.
Very cool. And you can find me at Wicked Theory on Twitter. You can find the show at wickedtheory.com. And send us an email if you want to send us an email. I didn't put that in earlier. I'll put it in now. They can send it to podcast@wickedtheory.com.
And check out our other podcast. That's Preacher versus Preacher, where we dissect and compare and contrast the AMC show Preacher to the original source material comic book from Vertigo Comics.
That's right. Check it out, people, while supplies last.
It's almost over.
It's running out. We're running out. Bob, hit it.
Don't forget that sunblock. Stay cancer free.
Hey, man, have you seen my skin? I'm mighty white. SPF 1 million. Next up, some Jethro Tull.